Who's here? Hello, Frog Hollow. How you doing, Jen? Haven't seen you in a really long time. I'm going to be down at the print shop today. They're doing an open house and reunion, and I'm bringing my tent and my stuff, some of my stuff anyway, and I will be down there figuring out what it feels like to do a live show again. It's been so long. I will have my mask, of course. All this new COVID stuff is a little scary, so I'm trying to be safe. I'm a little tired this morning because we lost a family member to Alzheimer's last week. And I flew down and back to Washington, D.C. yesterday to attend his memorial service, which I was really happy to do because it was really good to gather together with family and to be able to hug everybody because everybody there was vaccinated. Anyway, but I wanted to show up because I said I was going to show up on Sunday mornings and stitch, and so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to work on this mandala brain that I started last week. I've done a little bit since I did this. Oh, thank you, Jen. I did the very middle part last week when we were here, the little pink part, and you could tell I've spent quite a bit of more time on this since you were here. And so I'm going to get to it and keep working on it because these things take a long time. I thought it might be fun to kind of review my work history and tell you all how I got here, because it's not been a very traditional path. And it's been a really, really long time since, it's been a long time for me to get to a point where I could feel comfortable calling myself an artist. Oh. The cat has decided he thinks my thread looks yummy. So, I don't know if you can see him down there in the corner. So I'm splitting threads for this one so that the detail will be very, very fine because it's a very fine pattern. Usually I do the 6-thread strand, but I'm doing the 3-thread strand. Anyway, I have just 1 week of being unemployed under my belt right now. Unemployed meaning I don't have to report to somebody else for my living anymore, which is a really good feeling. And I've been reflecting on how I got here, because I started doing embroidery when I was in high school, which was back in the 1970s. Hi, Liz. How you doing? We've got a few people joining, and they're all local folks, which is wonderful. So I started embroidering when I was in high school. I used to be that person who embroidered everybody's jean jackets. And lucky friends I had, huh? And then I continued doing that into college. My mother gave me this beautiful book of embroidery stitches that I have not been able to find, and I don't know what happened to it, but I've moved around a lot since the 1970s, so. And then I did crazy quilting for a while, which is a technique that you do a patchwork quilt and then you embroider all of the seams. So it's also very detailed work, very beautiful. And I just kept always embroidering because I just love it. I love the meditative quality of stitching. Hi, Dawn. Good morning. Well, all my local folks are showing up. I love this. So I'm going to actually try to zoom in on the embroidery a little bit because you probably are more interested in seeing that than in seeing me. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. Let's see if I can do this without totally losing it, because camera work is not my best. So I first did embroidery with paint when my kids were little, and I was doing some very fine embroidery, and I couldn't get the kind of detail in the embroidery that I wanted. I was working on a portrait, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave the face without embroidery thread, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint it. And I did that, and it turned out really good, and I realized I had never seen anybody do that technique before. So I just kept going with it. And now it's something that I've been doing for over 30 years. Hi, Taryn. Hi, Artie Birdie. Oh, I'm so glad you people are showing up. Thank you very much. Okay, so sometimes it takes me a while to get the stitch in just the right place. So I didn't find brains until about 6 years ago. And before that, I was doing all kinds of things. When I first moved to Massachusetts, I started a business called Frisky Furnishings. And I was actually refinishing furniture and using crazy quilting techniques to do like seat covers, which was really fun and beautiful, but schlepping furniture around to shows is really, really challenging. So it's really good. Let me see what Dawn said. She can't hear me. Is anybody else having trouble hearing me? Huh. I'm not sure what's going on. This is all new to me. But anyway, you're probably here to watch the stitching anyway, so. It's a slow art form, people. But I think it's kind of fun to watch it and watch it in slow-mo. Actually, this is real life speed. And I don't know if you can see my kitty cat who's right here, cuddled up. Say hi, Ben. This is Ben the cat. Oh, thanks, Liz, for letting me know, and thanks, Taryn. What motivates me with the brain connection? Well, that's a really, really, really good question. So I did the very first show 6 years ago. I got invited to be in a fiber art show, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. And my boyfriend, who does a lot of improv theater and motivational speaking, said, "Have you ever thought about doing a brain?" And I thought, no, I never have thought about doing a brain. So I did my first one. Actually, I did my first two for this particular fiber art exhibition. And then I got this incredible response to it. And one of the responses was somebody that I worked with who had a daughter who had had a hemispherectomy, which means half of her brain had been surgically removed in order to quell her ongoing epileptic seizures. So that was 20 years ago. She had her hemispherectomy, and she's a bright, happy, living a life. You know, she's developmentally challenged, but she's just a joy to be around. But her mom wanted a piece of art to commemorate the half of her brain that was missing. So she commissioned me to do the third piece I ever did. And then this neurosurgeon, this pediatric neurosurgeon, found my artwork, and she bought the first two pieces that I had done. And so part of it was a response by the community of people who work with brains and people who have brain injuries that really spurred me on. But then I also started doing a lot of research on what we know about our brains and what we don't know about our brains. And I was working as a sponsored research officer, working with neuroscientists, helping them find funding for their neuroscience research. So I just got totally engrossed in everything that I was learning. I read a lot, and I was also really fascinated by what we don't know about how the brain works. Because we know a lot, but there's an awful lot we don't know. So I kept going at it. And I realized this week I actually went in and looked at my list of neuro art pieces that I've done. And this is the 64th piece that I'm working on right now. And which is really pretty appropriate since I'm turning 65 this year. But and I really I think the other thing that really spurred me on was knowing quite a few people who have brain injuries and illnesses of one sort or another. I mentioned earlier on, if you're just joining, that I just came back from a memorial service yesterday in DC for a family member who passed away of Alzheimer's. And I lost my stepmother to she actually had Parkinson's with dementia. And then I have family members who've had mental illness, who have mental illness. I've suffered from anxiety most of my life. It's not crippling for me, but it does require medication sometimes. And I have a cousin with MS. I mean, if you think about it, pretty much every single person knows somebody who has a brain injury or illness. It's so prevalent. Oh, thank you, Fred. Fred wrote he's so sorry to hear. Condolences. Yeah, it's with Alzheimer's, it's losing somebody with Alzheimer's is kind of a mixed blessing, because it's really, really difficult to watch somebody living with Alzheimer's when you know that they would be horrified by who they have become, because the disease is so crippling. So it was when we found out he had passed away last week, it was kind of a sad, but it was also it was good that he was able to let go. Oh, Taryn. Taryn says, I love this story. Thanks for sharing. I'm a support group leader with the Brain Injury Association of Massachusetts. Oh, that's great, Taryn. That is wonderful. I want to hear one day more about how that journey started for you. Maybe we could do I know it's possible to invite somebody into your live at some point. We could set that up for the future. I would really like to connect in that way, Taryn. So let me know if you're interested, and we can do that one of these Sunday mornings. Yeah, it's brain injury and illness is just extremely prevalent, and it's kind of scary. I mean, this morning I was running around getting ready. Oh, good. Taryn says she's in. So we'll plan that out, and I'll let you all know when we're going to do that. That'll be so fun. Taryn actually bought one of my embroidery kits, and she did a fabulous job with it. Fred says, do you think that in some way your art has helped your personal process? Oh my God, yes, absolutely. Well, one of the reasons I stick with embroidery is because it's a very slow process, and it's very, you have to be very mindful, and you have to be very present with what you're doing, because otherwise you make terrible mistakes and have to take it all out, which is no fun. So I use embroidery to help calm me. It helps keep my hands busy. It helps me stay focused, and it helps me essentially be less anxious. So yeah, I think I get a lot out of being an artist, and especially a lot out of doing hand embroidery. For those of you who are interested in what stitch I'm doing a back stitch. So I'm coming up a little further out from the stitch that I just laid down, and I'm backing up and going down at the top of that stitch. In case you just joined, I don't really do a lot of teaching about stitches, but I can point you to people who do a really great job with it. There's 2 people on Instagram I follow, Hope Broderie and Jessica Long. They both do great tutorials, and I often send people to them. What was I saying? This morning I was running around really busy because I'm doing this in-person show this afternoon in Holyoke. For those of you who are local, come down. It's right next door to the Holyoke train station, so it's really easy to find. There's going to be plenty of parking because I think you can park in the train station parking lot. And I'm going to be there from 2 to 6. I'm going to have pins, prints, earrings, and coloring books with me. I'm having a hard time with this one stitch, probably because I'm not focusing on it enough. So I'm going to shut up for a second. Okay. So this morning when I was running around, I spent a good hour looking for something that I had found last week. My little thing that lets me take credit cards. I found it last week. I charged it up because I haven't done a show in over a year and a half. And I thought, I'm going to get ready. So I found the thing. I got it charged up. And then this morning I went to put it in my bag and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I I worry about my own memory when I do something like that. So I spent so much time looking for it. And I did finally find it. Of course, I had put it in a bag that I thought I would be taking with me, but then this morning I was looking at another bag. So Fred says he likes the music. Thank you, Fred. It's nice to have music. I realized last week when I did my live that I should have had something on in the background. But, I'm new to this, so here we sit. Now what I should have done was got a clock out so I could see what time it is. Oh, I see. It's 11:17. Okay, good. I'm going to just be here for a few more minutes, folks. I'm not going to stay as long today because I've got this show I have to get ready for. My car's packed, but I got to eat something before it's time to go. And I can't believe it. I've been here almost 20 minutes and I've only got this one little tiny part done. So you can see how slow this is here. Does anybody have any questions before I take off? I really want to thank you for showing up. Let's see, Liz loves the colors. Oh, thank you so much, Liz. You know I'm a rainbow girl. And purple is my absolute favorite color, always has been. All right, I think I'm gonna, so can you see this good, what I just did today? There you go. So that took about 20 minutes to do that little spiral. And now I'm gonna turn it over. Here's the back. My backs always look messy. And take a couple of stitches to anchor it. And I'm gonna get my scissors and cut the thread. Whoops. So we'll bring Ben up to give you a proper goodbye. And I'll zoom out a little bit. He's so sleepy. He's like a little lead weight in my arms. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm going to sign off now. And if you can make it down to Holyoke Print Shop, Makers Market. I will be there from 2 to 6 for sure. I might stay till 8. The reunion and open house for the print shop is open from 2 to 8. And thank you for giving me lots of hearts. And thank you, Fred. Fred said he loves this. It's a meditation. Good luck with the outing. You're an inspiring artist. And Jen said thank you. This was lovely. And Liz said gorgeous. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming. Mwah. I'll see y'all. Bye. I gotta figure out how to stop it.